Most of the authors, speakers, motivational influencers will not tell you what I'm about to tell you, because this will all but put them out of business. Look, you don't need another podcast. You don't need another book. You don't need to go to another event. You do not need another guru. You need to be reminded of this one key thing. You already know what to do. Yeah, that's it. That's the punchline. You already know what to do. So what is preventing you from doing it? Over the next couple of minutes, I want to share with you 3 things that I think are not just preventing you, but 3 things that will actually help you to do the things that you want to do in order to achieve the things that you desire to achieve. Because it's not about a lack of knowledge. It's about a lack of action. And I know you've heard that before, and yet here you sit watching a guy like me tell you that you need to start putting your words into action. I hear it all the time. I need to get in shape. I need to make a few extra bucks. I need to be a better husband to my spouse. And I'm thinking to myself, then why aren't you just doing it? Like, what's actually preventing you from doing it? I was recently on a call with one of my clients who was complaining about the fact that he was so busy that he didn't have time to spend with his wife. And yet he loves his wife, he honors his wife, he cherishes his wife, he wants to be in his wife's life. And towards the end of the call, I said to him, I said, all right, so what are you going to do about it? He says, I'm going to start planning to go out on a date with my wife once a week. And I said, wait a minute, you had the time all along and you didn't do it? What was preventing you from getting it done? He goes, well, you just put it into perspective for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the problem. You knew it. You knew it all along, but you weren't saying it out loud. You weren't saying it in a place that was going to reflect back to you what you were saying so you could hear it for yourself. And it took somebody like me saying it for him. But the reality of the matter is he knew it inside. And I think that everything that stands between where you are now and where you want to go, this idea of actually closing the gap, is here. It's here. And it's time to bring that out. So here are 3 things that I believe are going to be incredibly helpful for you in closing down that gap and ultimately achieving the things that you want to achieve in life. Now remember, all of this is about reminding you of something. It's not about giving you something new. We're not trying to put more into our heads. We're actually trying to take more out because we've got too much stuff gummed up in there that's preventing us from doing the things that we want to do. So 3 things that I believe are going to be incredibly beneficial for you to close down that gap. Number 1, visual reminders. What do I mean by that? Well, what we see in the world every single day influences how we act. If it's out of sight, you've heard it. It's out of mind. This is why things like Jesse Itzler's Big Ass Calendar are so incredibly popular, because it just puts up on the wall this massive calendar that shows you everything that you need to get done each and every day. Because if we start to hide things, if we start to bury things, we know we're not going to get them done. For me personally, one of the things that I'm going to be starting for this new year, as we're coming up on the cusp of 2025, is I am going to print out on a massive 36 by 48 sheet of paper that's going to go on the back of my office door. I'm going to print out this massive sheet that is going to lay out the daily discipline, weekly discipline, and monthly disciplines that I'm committing to for the entirety of 2025. I want to be able to stare that thing in the face every single day. I mean, this is how I have been able to accomplish nearly 400 days of being alcohol-free. You see, on a widget on my phone, when I open it up every single day, it shows me this counter, and it's counting up. One more day, one more day. It's staring me in the face, and I don't want to break that damn streak. And so here I go, and I continue on. When we see the things that we need to see, they are reminders to continue to forge forward. And so for you, I want to encourage you very quickly. What is one thing that you need to get done today? Write it down. Somewhere that is going to stay in front of you. What is something that you need to get done this week? Write it down in a place that's going to stay in front of you. What is one thing that you want to get done this month, that you need to get done this month in order to accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself? Write it down and you've got it. Put it in front of you. And then you can take that a step further like I have, and you can write out all of your daily commitments, all of your weekly commitments, all of your monthly commitments, and you can put them somewhere visible for you to see. If it's in an office, write them on a whiteboard and save that one whiteboard for those things so they are there at all times. Put it on a piece of paper, stick it up on the wall. The problem with putting it in a program is you got to go into the program in order to see it, to be reminded of it. Another thing you could do is you could use a task management tool that's going to send you a notification every single day to remind you. The problem is it's too easy to swipe it away, so you do want to be careful there. I would say put it up somewhere massive so you will never miss out on it. Tool number 2, accountability through community. So I don't believe it's enough to just have it in front of us. I believe that we have to surround ourselves with people that are also going to remind us, that are going to challenge us, and that are going to hold us accountable when we drift. This is why I invest into my own mastermind, or into a mastermind that I'm a part of. This is why I host a men's community called Men of Greatness. That is a community, a tribe of like-minded individuals that are all set out on the same journey. They're not all after the same goals, but they are all committed to daily, weekly, and monthly habits and disciplines that are ultimately going to help them to close down that gap between who they are and who they believe they have been called to be. Look, when I share my goals, when I share my desires, when I share my habits, when I share my disciplines with my mastermind, they are like they're being set in stone. And every single week when we have our check-in calls, when we're in our WhatsApp chat group and we're talking about things, they're constantly asking me, are you doing what you said you were going to do? Again, this is not about telling me to do something new. This is about reminding me of what I've already said that I want to accomplish and helping to remind me, to hold me accountable. And when I start to make excuses, they knock me out. No, they don't do that. But they quickly jump in to remind me, Ryan, this is not who you are. This is not what you've committed to. They're going to give me grace. They're going to help me to navigate through the challenges of life, but they will not. They absolutely are against me settling for less because I do not want to settle for less. What about you? You and I, we need reminders of who we are and who we are called to become. Be who you want to become, but you need to be reminded of that. So my encouragement to you is in this area of accountability through community, find a group of men or women. If you're a woman watching this, find a group of like-minded individuals who will push you to grow, who will give you grace, who will pick you up when you fall back down. But you need to do that. If you don't have one, you've got to find one or create one yourself. And I'd be happy to share with you more how you can do that to benefit you and those around you, because there are many other people in your local area that are starving for this same thing. Accountability through community is absolutely beneficial and something that I believe you will find extremely powerful for you as you continue to close down that gap between who you are and who you're called to be. And number 3, leverage technology. Now, I want to be careful here because, like I said, once it goes into the phone, once it goes into the computer, once it goes into a system, we are forced to have to get into that system. But it can be beneficial to leverage technology to help us organize and refine the plans that we have for themselves. I just went through this profound exercise with myself. So every single year, I do around this time in November, I go through an exercise in which I reflect on the past year, and then I start planning for the new year. Why so early? Because I want to get a head start on the year ahead. I don't want to wait until the new year before I start doing these things. And so this year, because I utilize AI so much, I actually had AI help me for the first time ever, both in reflection, in analysis, and in planning for the new year. And so I worked through a reflection first on my highs and lows, on what I set out to do, what I accomplished, what I did not, how I behaved, the types of things that I said and didn't say, the types of things I got engaged in and didn't get engaged in. And with that help of AI, it helped to reflect back to me how I did. And then I took my own feelings, my own reflections, and compared that to what AI delivered for me to determine where there was alignment and where there was misalignment. Then, with that in mind, then I set out to put together a plan for the new year, for 2025. Once I put my plan together, I went back to AI and I said, hey, take a look at this plan and let me know what you think based upon everything you know about me, everything that I've done with you over the last year. And I'm using AI 3 to 4 hours a day, every single day. So it knows a lot about me. And as I did that, it gave me some suggestions on how I can modify my plan to better become the man that I believe that I'm called to be. And finally, one of the greatest benefits that this process lent to me was it helped me to identify areas where I will fall short. Based upon everything it knows about me and based upon everything that it knows about everybody in the world, it was able to help me identify areas where I could potentially trip up, where I could potentially fall short. So I could start making plans now to prevent that from happening in the future. So that is one thing that you can do. And as a matter of fact, if you want to DM me on any social platform that you find this video on, I would be happy to share with you the steps that I took to engage with AI to build out that plan for me. We're also going to be offering an assessment soon in which we can do that on your behalf. So be on the lookout for that again, or you can DM me and I'd be happy to put you on that list as we begin to build that out. Technology can be an incredible benefit. You can use task reminders. You can use project management software like Asana, which is what we use. But again, you just need to make sure that you're in it consistently if you're going to use it to remind you to do something. Because the thing is, and right, the theme of this whole video was none of those tools, your notes app, reminders app, project management software, AI, it's not going to tell you what to do until you engage with it. And even then, we're trying to use this as a reflection of what we've told it. We're not looking for something new. We're looking to engage in, take action on what we already know. Because remember, you already know what is the greatness you have been achieved for is already inside of you. You don't need to go find it anywhere else. It's here. It's here. Bring it out. It's begging you to come out. Ultimately, this has got to be about a big time perspective shift for most of us. Because most of us, when we want to take it to the next level, when we want to go to the next step, when we're stuck, we start reaching, we start striving, we start looking, we start consuming. And I just think to myself, man, are you consuming in such a way that you are actually clouding what you already know to be true and what already got you to the level of success that you've had? It's in here. It's in here. You just need to draw it out. So instead of chasing something new, focus on becoming the person that you've been created to be. I've done this in every single area of life. I know what it's going to take to be the best possible husband to my wife. I know what it's going to take to be the best father to my 2 daughters. I know what it's going to take to be the best friend. I know what it's going to take to stay healthy and get in shape. I know what it's going to take to build a successful business. I just need to do it. And I need to make sure that I'm reminding myself of what I already know instead of trying to chase after the wind. How about you? Do you need that reminder right now? Do you need me to remind you that you need to remind yourself of how you got here in the first place? So right now, write down 3 things that you already know you need to do and are going to commit to. Commit to one of those actions right now. You watch this video, you've seen me share this stuff. Commit to something right now. Drop what you're doing and get after that one thing right now. Return that one email. You go out and take a walk for 10 minutes just to get some activity going in your day. And if you're really, really challenged in this area, then I would encourage you, beyond you taking that action, is that you check out the Closing the Gap intensive that we have coming up in January here in Southern California. I'm opening up my office to the public. You can fly in if you're from out of state. We're creating an entire weekend experience. Though our workshop will be one day, but we're going to have dinners together. We're going to have an intense workshop, building relationships with other like-minded men. We're going to have an opportunity to go to church together, and we're even going to do an outdoor activity that is going to share in work with each other. If you want to learn more about that, click the link down below, and I'd be happy to share that with you. But more than anything, I just want you to be the man that I know that God has already created you to be. He's inside of you. Are you willing to pull him out? Are you willing to commit to getting after it? Because you already know what it is.